Hey Facebook friends and YouTube, I'm going to make a video now about Genesis. I'm going to paraphrase Genesis, or at least as much as I can get through in 10 minutes. Alright, so Genesis 1, God creates the world. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. So then God makes creation, and all the animals, and man and woman. He says it's not good for man to be alone, so he makes woman. Then he puts them in the garden. The Lord planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed, and he put them there to work the garden. Okay, and then right away the serpent comes in, which is supposed to be Satan. And he tempts Eve. And the funny thing about this story is that Adam is right there next to Eve. He could have stopped it, but he didn't. Which I think is a commentary on, that it's really powerful when men are passive, as in it's bad. So men, don't be passive. If you see your wife, getting messed with by Satan, then you need to step up and say something and stop it. Okay, and vice versa. Ladies, if you're standing right there and Satan's messing with your husband, you need to step up and say something and stop it. Okay, then they have their kids, Cain and Abel, and Cain murders Abel, so that's the first horrible sin in the Bible, because he was jealous. It was really just a spirit of jealousy that came on Cain, because Abel's sacrifice was better, and God looked favorably on Abel's sacrifice. The reason was because Abel brought in the first fruits of his produce. He worked with the vegetables and stuff. But then with Cain, it says that he just brought in some of his stuff. He didn't bring in the first fruits. So that's why God didn't look favorably on his sacrifice. So he kills Abel. Okay, then Adam and Eve have more kids. And then you got Genesis 6, the wickedness and judgment of man. Now it came to pass when man began to multiply in the face of the earth, the daughters were born to them. The sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were beautiful, and they took wives for themselves, of all whom they chose. So I think that this is referring to angels, and that's what is the popular opinion on this, that this was angels that literally had sex with human women. So that made God angry. And so then it says, and the Lord said, my spirit shall not strive with man forever, for he is indeed flesh. Yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God came into the daughters of men. So that's why it's thought that they were angels that had sex with human women, because they produced giants. And then it says, then the Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every intent of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And the Lord was sorry that he had made man on the earth, and he was grieved in his heart. So the Lord said, I will destroy man, whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, creeping thing, and birds of the air, for I am sorry that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. Isn't that crazy? Just one person. So try and live your life so that you can be that one person that God is like, good job. I am proud of you and I approve of you. Hopefully now there are millions of people like that, hopefully. So then Noah builds the ark. Everybody teases him because they're like, that's ridiculous, because it had never rained. Water had just come up from under the ground to irrigate the earth before the flood. Then the great flood happens. The fountains of the deep open. I think this is when the tectonic plates split up and Pangea split up. And so before, all of the continents were one continent. But then when this happened, the great flood happened, the waters came up and split apart Pangea, it's called in science classes. So now we have 7 continents. Okay, then Noah's deliverance. So then it says, Then God remembered Noah and every living thing and all the animals that were with him in the ark. And God made a wind to pass over the earth. That's kind of funny. God remembered Noah. So it's did he forget about him for a little bit? But, I mean, that would kind of support my theory that God has multiple planets that he is working on or working through and creating things on. Maybe his other planets, he only created animals. And then on Earth, maybe this was the first time he tried creating man, and then it didn't go very well. And that's why he was thinking about just destroying humankind. It's possible. So anyway, so then Noah gets out of the ark. And this is when it began that people started eating animals. Before they used to just eat fruits and veggies. And then it says, then the Tower of Babel happened. Shh, I'm busy. What? Okay, I'll pick up later. God loves you all.